Back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So, happy Saturday. Today I want to talk about Bitcoin and where Bitcoin is heading, and I don't think you'll believe it. So, let's talk about Bitcoin. Let's talk about what's going on in the market, and let's do this. So, welcome, guys. Right now, Bitcoin is holding, again, at 23,000. That's okay. Consolidation is good, letting the market cool off. But while Bitcoin is consolidating, altcoins are doing just fine. A lot of them have come up quite a lot during this last week. But we know what comes after consolidation. Another leg up, right? So I saw this article today, saw a chart, want to show you guys, and that is this, okay? So there's a lot of charts. I've been showing you guys a lot of charts about where Bitcoin is heading, okay? But this one is on a monthly scale, a monthly time frame, which measures these 4-year cycles pretty accurately, okay? When you look at day charts, 4-hour charts, or even weekly charts, well, it doesn't really give you the broader picture, not like the monthly chart, because it takes a whole lot of time before some of these indicators actually find bottom or find top. So a couple interesting things here. So you can see going all the way back to 2012 when we formed a low, right? And then we formed a high, then a low, then a high, low, right? But every single time you see that high going up, and every single time you see that low going up, right? So this is what I want to show you guys. And something else that helps determine the bottom and top is the stochastic RSI on the bottom. Again, this is on a monthly scale, right? And you can see it predicts the bottom pretty accurately. Okay, whenever you see stochastic get into that deep green zone underneath and it's flipping above, that's usually a sign of bottom and sign of that we're moving into the next bull market. In fact, what? It's 3 for 3? I think it's going to be 4 for 4. I mean, we are definitely recovering from the bottom, right? It's going to take some time before we get back to our previous high. And then we're going to shatter it and go higher. So if history is on our side, which I do believe it is, well, if we're projecting, we will probably end up, okay, by the end of 2025, heading into 2026, and maybe even below, a little bit afterwards. Now there's talks about a super cycle where Bitcoin just continues forward. If that's the case, bring my pretty face back on. But if that's the case, then Bitcoin is heading up to 200,000 this next cycle, right? And once it forms that 200,000 and heads back down, because it always does, the new low could be as high as 70,000. So think about that. Our low, obviously, in 2022 was about 15,000 due to FTX collapse. You could have argued if there was no FTX collapse, then maybe the low would have been 17,000. But regardless, 17, 15,000. But obviously much higher than the 3,000 bottom from the last cycle, and that was much higher than the 160 bottom from the cycle before that. So you do the multiplier, well, this next bottom could be $70,000, nearing or basically equal to our previous top. So if that's the case, well, then imagine the top has to be around 200,000, 250,000, right? So that is what we have to look forward to. By the end of 2025, we could see Bitcoin at 200, 250,000. And even if it falls down, and so many people will FOMO in at that time and get burned because they get in at top, even then, and it falls, well, 70,000 Bitcoin, I don't think anyone could complain because that's still 3.5 times higher than where we are right now, right? So, very, very, very exciting. Very exciting. This is why we're in the game, and ultimately why we're in Bitcoin is not only because of the price appreciation like this, but you're building that life-changing wealth, right? You're holding on to the best asset that we have and really hedging against inflation. I'm not going to talk about what the governments around the world is doing and the U.S. debt and the debt ceiling and all that stuff because, yeah, inflation is a silent tax, and the only way to opt out of it is to opt in to something like Bitcoin. So very, very exciting. Very exciting, guys. What else is going on? Well, a lot. I mean, the bullish sentiment is definitely back. Now, a lot of you guys have watched me over years. I've always remained bullish, even to a fault, some would argue. Even when things were crashing, I remain bullish. But now I'm starting to see everyone join me and turn bullish. I mean, how could you not be bullish about Bitcoin, honestly? I mean, the fundamentals continue to improve. All these metrics, on-chain metrics, are showing we're heading higher. Technical indicators, technical analysis showing we're heading higher. I mean, here's one that's actually measuring stable coins. This is interesting. This is actually measuring stablecoin ratio with Bitcoin. And right now, it's among the highest, I guess, the peak of all the previous times where this ratio was measured. And normally speaking, that is a good thing. When you have a huge amount of stable coins sitting on its sidelines, what does that mean? That means there's a tremendous amount of money. We're talking about billions upon billions upon billions that are set to come into the space. Yes, we have some FOMO, but there's still a lot more to come. And when the billions upon billions of stable coins enter back into the market, it's going to drive prices higher and liquidate a lot more shorts. And I have a story to share about that. Not that I want to see anyone get liquidated, but it's a painful reality that happens to so many, and it really, really sucks. So this also shows a lot of money waiting to come back in. And of course, so far, this month is not over and could be even better. But so far, this is the best January we have ever had since 2013. 2013. This is a little hard to read, but so far we had a 38% gain. In 2020, we had a 30% gain. 2021, 14. January traditionally is a very bad month. But you go back to 2013, that's when Bitcoin went up 44%. And what else happened in 2013? Well, after January, it went up 61%, then 172%, and then another 50%. If we mimic 2013, I'm not saying we will. It's unlikely because Bitcoin was much smaller then. But if we did mimic it and we went on the same kind of run, well, Bitcoin will be back up to like 60,000 in no time. But I don't think that's going to happen. But there are a lot of people that's predicting that, hey, the very first half of this year could be tremendous because of what the Fed is doing, and we'll have an update on that next week too when the next FOMC meeting happens. But yeah, but this is not a surprise since 2022 was so bad. Even though you look at 2022, you have a few months of green, but we had some horrendous months of red. Okay, horrendous months of red. So of course, when you're oversold, the recovery is tremendous, right? That's what we're seeing, and it can continue. It can continue. Exciting time. Hey, New York. New York wants to make Bitcoin a form of payment so that government agencies can actually start accepting Bitcoin. It's starting to happen in every state. It's starting to happen in countries, but in the U.S., we're starting to see more and more states embrace Bitcoin, either wanting to add it to its balance sheet or being pro-Bitcoin mining, incentivizing miners to come in, or even allowing it to be accepted as official payment of the government. It's happening, right? There's no more talks about banning Bitcoin. What happened to those talks? What happened to the naysayers that said, oh, governments will try to ban it? No, that's not happening. Governments are actually embracing it. It's too big to even talk about banning. No one even is talking about banning anymore. It's only about embracing and adopting. Because if you don't, you'll be left behind, right? Here's another one. You know, if you guys need more proof, Bitcoin breaking below and breaking above the realized price, generational buying opportunity. If you look at the previous times, this has happened where Bitcoin falls below the realized price, it flips above, and every single time it's a pretty good buying opportunity, right? Just like what we saw in the last few months of 2022 and 2023, and then finally we have flipped above. So keep that in mind. And here's something else to look forward to, the golden cross, the 50-day moving average, moving above the 200-day moving average. Traditionally speaking, when you have a golden cross, good things happen. It's not certain, but many, many times when we have seen that golden cross, really good things have happened. So again, something else supporting the bull movement right now. And here's long-term holder supply, right? Besides FTX, which you saw some red, basically the last retail investors that really couldn't hold out anymore, they sold, right? But since then, all greens, right? All greens. A lot of people stocking up. Short-term, long-term holders all stocking up, DCAing. Institutional investors buying back in. We're hearing a lot about that. BlackRock getting involved, and everyone else, Fidelity really jumping in. Everyone jumping in at this point, right? While things are still low. That's what you're supposed to be doing, right? So awesome stuff all around. This is why we stay in the game. We stay strong, focus on the future, and dollar cost average to let the goodness come to us. There's no need to chase. You just have to have patience. Volatility is the price of admission when it comes to Bitcoin and crypto. Really, that's what it is. Anyone can invest. But can you withstand these periods when it's really, really dark and really scary? If you can, and you can go against the market sentiment, and do the opposite when people are selling and you're buying, well, that's how you win. Every generational wealth, or every investor that made generational wealth, let's say, they have all followed that same pattern. All right, what else is going on? Let's talk a little bit about SBF and SBF Ventures. There's always SBF Ventures. Department of Justice claims that SBF is trying to influence witness testimony because SBF is, he's really bored, right? So he's reaching out to people that's currently working at FTX and trying to get coffee with them, right? And the Department of Justice is like, well, obviously that's a no-no. You can't have him trying to influence these guys, so they're trying to block his communications. Right? I don't know how stupid SBF have to be at this point. And then, he's asking his lawyers to ask the court so that he could get access to FTX systems again, because they're claiming that, well, it's obvious that he didn't do anything wrong. He was not the ones that was illegally transferring FTX funds out. And somehow he's so delusional thinking that he should have access to his funds and his systems again. Okay, as if the courts are going to say, okay, sure, go ahead. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know what's going on. I don't know what he's thinking. But anyways, let's move on from there. Ripple, I know a lot of you guys love XRP because I do show and hold the only copy of the most educational video ever created about XRP. But anyways, Ripple appoints new president. So she was the senior vice president general manager, Monica Long, and now she has been appointed as new president, right? She will be launching on-demand liquidity, which will be utilized in 40 countries through various continents. Great. Good for her, good for Ripple. But of course, everyone wants to know, when is this lawsuit going to end, right? We don't know. It's supposed to be the first half of 2023. Is it soon, next week, next month. We don't know. But all eyes are on that settlement or the verdict of it, because everyone wants to see Gary lose, right? No one wants to see SEC win. And Ripple has a really good shot of winning. I do think so. California DMV is going to digitize car titles via Tezos. Interesting. I mean, that's a really good way to store car titles, right? Rather than fumble through some archaic system, just throw on the blockchain, right? I think that's pretty cool. What else is there? Doge. Elon says he'll be happy to eat a Happy Meal on TV if McDonald's accepts Dogecoin. So, is this going to happen? Probably. Why not? McDonald's, why wouldn't they just accept Dogecoin, right? So, maybe there's some hope there. Some hope for Doge, because Doge is really dependent on Elon right now in terms of doing something, integrating with Twitter or something like that. The biggest supporter of Doge out there for sure. And then here's a story I want to share. Again, not that I'm trying to pick on the bears or pick on the shorters or anything like that, but this is what happens when you play with leverage. And this is why I've always said, stay away from leverage unless you want to get wrecked. More people get wrecked with leverage than anything else out there. And it has happened to most of us that's been in this space for a while. You get bored, you get greedy, you want to just, you think you're going to outsmart the market, you think you're just going to throw a quick trade and make quick bucks. But this is what can happen. And I came across this through another article. This guy says, I got completely wiped out. I never short, but today I decided to do it and lost everything. I committed. He decided to short Aptos because many people didn't believe that Aptos could continue going, right? And some of these pumps can go way beyond what people think. So he shorted Aptos and got destroyed. He's left with nothing. He lost absolutely nothing. And he made $2,000 a few hours ago, right? See, this is what happens with leverage. Because you get a few wins. You might get a win right off the bat. You get a few wins and you think you're so smart, right? And it makes you confident and then do more risky things. So he actually made $2,000 in a few hours. That's fantastic. That's what people make in a week, right? But then he decided to short Aptos and continue to pile on as it came closer and closer to liquidation. And then he put more in until it got all liquidated. And now he has no money at all. Everything he has gained is gone. And he's hoping that the bull market doesn't start because it will be a double loss because he has no money to go back in, right? So again, this is why I tell people to stay away from leverage or to even stay away from day trading because you just don't know, okay? If you buy something and it goes down, you can always hold it longer. It can always come back. But when you buy a short or long and then you get liquidated, there's no recourse in that. You lose it all, right? So be careful. Be very, very careful with what you do with leverage. You could get wiped out instantly and it could cost you everything. All right. That is it. Let's do some Q&A. If Bitcoin goes to the moon, will all top 50 alts follow automatically? Yes, they will follow, but only the good ones will outperform. There will be some that are left behind, but for the most part, the good ones will try to keep up, and eventually you're going to have that crazy altcoin season, and that's when they really explode. But Bitcoin definitely leads the way, Dutch. We got a good turnout this morning. Good turnout this morning. Good morning, George. Crypto Hound. We're all George. Good morning and happy Saturday to you. Illegals. When BTC is accepted nationally in the US, will even shrimps become millionaires? Well, 0.1 Bitcoin. It's going to take a while. I don't think 0.1 Bitcoin is enough to become a millionaire, because Bitcoin has to become $1 million for you to become a millionaire if you had one. So 0.1, not enough. You'll have to keep accumulating. All right, scrolling down. I need this bull run. I want to put in my 2 weeks notice. I just saw the other day, I don't know if the guy was serious or not, but he's like, yeah, I'm putting in my 2 weeks because I've accumulated enough and I'm going to be on my own. I didn't say congratulations, but every single cycle you hear and you see a lot of people that finally made it through accumulation, through DCA, through whatever means. They're able to quit their 9 to 5, and that frees up. That opens you up to so many things. When you're not burdened to a 9 to 5 job, you do whatever you want, right? You're not retired, but you could do whatever you want. Spend more time with your family, with friends. You could travel more. You could start your own business, right? You could focus on yourself, do stuff that you want. And, you know, being financially free is awesome. It's awesome. So congratulations for everyone, or congratulations to anyone that has achieved that. And I'm sure this next bull run will allow more people to achieve it. DMS says, or you could play blackjack like I did and lose 2.5K. Man, you must be sitting at the high roller table. I could never lose that much at a casino. I just cut myself off. I can't. I just think about, man, I could have used that money for other things. JL, I did receive my Ferrari, so I'll show it in in the future when the weather is better. I did not have much time to drive it at all. I still can't kind of believe it that I have it in my garage. One Take Studios. Great takes on leverage, but why don't you acknowledge that this bear market and macro conditions have much more effect on BTC than previous ones? Not really. Prove that to me. Prove that to me. Because if that was the case, our drawdown percentage, our drawdown time would be vastly different than previous cycles, and it isn't. It's almost identically to the T, right? Now, I would argue that the macro conditions probably pull down Bitcoin maybe harder than it should have, right? But if you look at the drawdown time and the percentage, it's identical to the previous time, right? So it's hard to prove that. It's hard to make that argument. It could. I'm sure it has a lot to do with it. But, you know, one thing is for certain. People have argued for a long time that Bitcoin has never been tested. Bitcoin has never gone through a recession. And you can't say that anymore after 2022. We had one of the worst crashes for equities, right? And we may still see more of that. We had some bad falls. And Bitcoin and crypto, no exception, had some bad months, bad year, right? But still way higher than the previous low. And we are still recovering according to plan. And nothing has changed, really. How much does Blue Label cost? Well, you could go look that up, man. Yeah, I'm going to do some cool stuff with the new house. I'll have the Ferrari in there. I might even stream from the garage a little bit. I'll build it out so that I can stream from a couple places. I think it'll be pretty cool. I'm starting to think about it already while it's being built, obviously. Filippo, if you have 15K, is it better to put an ADA or go for Bitcoin? So you don't limit yourself to two options. First of all, if you go all in Bitcoin, nothing wrong with that. But you have to truly understand altcoins before getting in. Why are you picking Cardano? Just because you heard other people talk about it, or do you truly believe in what they're doing? Right? You have to kind of understand. If you don't understand anything, try to understand Bitcoin first. Understand not only Bitcoin, but the whole ecosystem. How to self-custody your own crypto. How to utilize these cold wallets or mobile wallets, right? Learn about addresses. Learn about everything there is before you move on to alt. A lot of people talking about Flux. Flux has always been around for a long time. It's been, it's a decent project, but nothing outstanding about it. It's a decentralized cloud play, a hosting play, very integrated with Cardano. So I do like that part. That's how I got introduced to them. They actually run a lot of nodes for Cardano. Also trying to expand out, into partnerships with other projects. So I think they're interesting, but terribly exciting? Not really. They are still utilizing proof of work, though. One of the few projects left that is still using mining rather than staking. Bungo, no. Someone is shorting Gala with a 20x. I just got done talking about leverage. Don't do it. Don't do it. These runs could be, yeah, it's just really hard to predict these pumps and sometimes dumps too. I don't have a Bugatti. I don't think I'll ever get a Bugatti. There's no point. There's no point. It's like, I don't know how anyone could drive any expensive car anywhere. You'd be so nervous that someone's going to hit it or do something to it when parked. I don't even get it. The Feezy says 280K Bitcoin minus 75% correction would put us around 70K. I say that's pretty accurate. So until this is disproven, okay, we're still right on track. Someone was just making an argument, well, what about macro conditions, right? Not the best. Yeah. But still, our drawdown time, our drawdown percentage, Bitcoin fell about 75%, 78%. Versus 85% the last cycle, versus 88% the last cycle, right? The drawdown time was about a year. We're a little bit over that. So nearly the same. It's not going to be identical, but still rhyming, right? And we're following the same path, leading up to the halving event, which is about mid-2024, like around April timeframe in 2024. This is usually the time when we start flipping above. We start getting back to the previous highs. And normally speaking, right around the halving event is when we reach it. We could reach it a little bit before, we could reach it a little bit afterwards, right? But we still have like a year, more than a year for that to happen. And then afterwards, after the halving event, right? That's when things go up and we see tremendous ups. And, you know, when you zoom out like this, you don't see the volatility. You don't see a lot of the dips, okay? It just seems like it's a straight line. But no, during the years, we had many falls, right? Many fake outs, many days or weeks or months where we're just falling and then we recover, right? But overall trend is upwards. So this is what we have to look forward to. All right, what did I miss here? I'm working for the Tesla truck, Jim and Company. You mean you're working to save up for the Cybertruck, or you're actually working to create the Tesla Cybertruck? Exotic frequency. My orange Mustang got keyed, scratched when I first got it. It's the only Mustang. Jealous people will damage your shit. I mean, that's true. You see pictures, I mean, videos all the time from Tesla drivers showing random people parking next to it and just keying it for no reason. I mean, people, there are some really sad and miserable people out there. And it's sad to hear, right? We in life should be helping those that need it, right? But there are some that are just, they refuse. They refuse to accept help or receive help or whatever, right? But going back to the point of cars, I mean, that's why if you're driving like a really, really nice car, I don't see how anyone could like just park in the middle of a parking lot, right? You could park it away from everyone, and then you'll see one a-hole that just parked next to you. You know, it's like, yeah, that's why. I have a position in Sol and Ethereum. What should I do? Hold aside. I can't tell you what to do. You decide what to do with it. Get a Toyota Super 4. What's a Super 4Runner and Prius? I don't know. No idea. Skeptical of the pump given low volume, rise in unemployment, weak earnings, and weak consumer. Smells like a bull trap, but I bought at $16K anyways. Kate, yeah. It's okay to be skeptical, but you're making it sound really bad when it's not. Rising unemployment, yes, but we're at a 50-year low. We're not at a 50-year high, right? So rising unemployment, although concerning, but we're at a 50-year low. Keep that in mind. Weak earnings, weak consumer sentiment, not really. Some companies have done well recently. Some of their earnings have done well. I'll just use Tesla example. Tesla's earnings was great. Microsoft's earning was great. Not every company is having weak earnings. Weak consumers, yeah, that's okay. But again, jobs, still plenty of it. Unemployment still low. Wages still high. So even though there's a little concern, but the U.S. economy is strong. Don't let the naysayers tell you anything otherwise. You compare the U.S. economy versus any other economy out there in the world, we are the strongest by far. By far. It's not even close. And despite Powell doing his best to try to make everyone broke, everyone isn't. So, can it get worse? Yes, but in my opinion, no. I don't think it's going to get worse unless we have some kind of catastrophe. The debt ceiling, debt, endless printing, are those concerns? Yes. But those are things that are not going to be resolved tomorrow or next year. It's probably just going to be pushed on to future generations. But what we could do about it is to focus on Bitcoin and crypto and things that opt us out of the current financial systems that are basically Ponzi schemes. George, my BTC average is now 22.6. So from here on out, I average up. Do I accumulate until 30? Holly, there's no right or wrong answer. If you're a long-term holder, you could keep accumulating upwards, right? Or you could wait. But if you feel like you don't have enough as we enter this bull market and as Bitcoin gets further higher and higher and higher, well, then your answer is to keep accumulating. So there's no right or wrong answer. You have to decide that for yourself. Robert said, if I saw someone keying a car, it'll be the last time doing it. Well, I salute you. I salute you. Any fun plans? No, I never have any fun plans. My fun plans include streaming. That's pretty much it. No, I don't have any fun plans. How do you find your average buys? What do you mean? When to average, when to buy to average, or what your total average is? Well, you could use a portfolio tracker. I use Delta investment app, and you could plug in all the transactions that tells you what your average buy is. Or average cost, I should say. Yeah, I know some of you guys have been complaining about internet. I don't know what's going on with my internet. I could see it. It's kind of like fluctuating a little bit. I don't know what it is today. Is Gala good? I do like Gala. It's high inflation only because they're trying to save a lot of that for their NFTs. NFT projects tend to have bad token economics because their max is really high because they're trying to save enough tokens for their future NFTs. That's usually how it is. But it doesn't mean that they're just going to unlock it all and just like dump the market. No, it's just that they're reserving it in case they need to come out with more NFTs in the future. I do not have a Bugatti on order. I do not. I happened to be looking at them yesterday because I just look at cars, nice cars. Not that I'm going to buy any more, but the cheapest one I found in the nation was like 1.3 million. I won't be buying that no matter what. Even if I could afford it and buy it with cash outright, I will not be doing it. Will not be doing that. If the dollar completely collapses, do you think we will convert? Do you think we will convert to ASA currency? Convert what? What currency? I don't know what. The dollar's not going to collapse within our lifetime. Fingers crossed. Knock on wood. I don't know. If the U.S. currency collapses, then we got bigger worries. But before that happens, it will continue to inflate away. And that's why we need to hold on assets that moves faster and higher than inflation, right? And that's Bitcoin. What's your biggest coin not investing in early? A lot. I didn't invest Solana early. I didn't invest in Cardano early. I could have ignored them for a while, right? Invested in them after they got decently big. You know, there's a lot. Just remember, for people that are getting in late, there's always new projects. And even the big projects now, and I just did a video just a few days ago, even the big projects now, for example, like Cardano, like Polygon, like Solana, like Polkadot, like Avalanche, and everything else, Cosmos, everything that seems to be too high right now. Okay, keep this in mind. They're still 90% off from their previous high. 90%. So they roughly have to go up 10x to equal their previous high that we saw back in November 2021. So think about it. So if you think you're too late, just think about it. Just to get back to previous high is a 10x play. So if you have 10,000, that's 100,000. If you have 100,000, that's a million, right? Of course, it's not certain. It's not 100% certain that they will reach their previous highs. But if we use history as an indicator, then yes, they will. And not only that, they will break above their high. So that means it's not just a 10x. Could be a 15x, could be a 20x, could be a 50x. And that's with the projects we know of, the big ones already. What about the mid caps, small caps, the ultra low caps, right? A lot of them will start gaining traction as well, right? That's why you want to be diversified. You want to keep some in your portfolio because if they do 1,000x, well, it's go carry your portfolio, right? But you don't want to go all in because it's too risky. So you have to be diversified. You still want the main coins like Bitcoin, of course. You want to have the big caps for strength, for stability, some for growth, but then you have to have some for that ultra growth, which could definitely carry your portfolio. All right, guys, don't let you go. My internet's just sucking right now, so hopefully it improves. But where is Bitcoin going to go? Well, 200,000, 250,000, 300,000. Who knows? Who knows? But we are definitely on our way. We're starting a journey, and that's awesome. All right? Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys tomorrow, same time, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.